We're keeping it light. We're keeping it light.
I've seen worse.
I feel sorry for you. It's not even a long film. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's a bit hammy from Hamill, if you ask me. I do not.
And we think about our listeners, and we know that they want us to move. Hello and welcome to The Film Angle, a podcast where we dive deep into the latest releases and unearth the classics to better our cinephilic curiosity. I'm Kris.
And I'm Alex.
Alex, are you ready to get into it?
I am ready to get into it, I think.
Oh.
We're a pretty deep episode for everybody today.
Yes. But can you hear my cadence and my voice? We're going to keep it like...
Keeping it light.
Deep but light, you know what I mean?
Deep but light.
Every time you feel yourself... diving into despair, you gotta just dredge yourself back up again. We gotta look after each other tonight.
We do. It's a heavy triple bill.
Yeah.
We've decided to do a new release being The Long Walk, and then instead of just one Sight and Sound film this week, we've decided to go for two because we feel like we do need to get through these.
But we give these films the time and attention that they deserve.
We recorded the last episode, which was a Ghibli Angle episode with Gavin. Thank you, Gavin, for coming on. Amazing episode.
Amazing.
But we recorded that on the same week that we did our episode before that, so we've had a couple of weeks to watch these films.
Yes, and I watched all three of these in 2 days.
Yes, yeah. Kris didn't get the memo. But yeah, so the two Sight and Sound films are In the Mood for Love and Tokyo Story. So yeah, you really have committed to the triple bill of having them done within 24 hours of each other.
Yeah, I mean, I watched In the Mood for Love and Tokyo Story back to back on Sunday afternoon, and I mean, they're just. I got my Asian cinema double bill, as you said before the podcast. Completely different flavors, though. But you know what? I was really having a great 4 hours there. So I'm looking forward to chatting about that on the back end of the show. There's a big movie that we're going to talk about today. I think it's a big movie, and I think it's one that we didn't know was going to be a big film. I think it was a trailer for Stephen King, the adaptation of Stephen King's The Long Walk that we were all kind of like seeing the trailer for every time we went to the cinema, and it was, it looked like popcorn flick entertainment. Mark Hamill's shouting a lot at these boys, and that's sort of true in the final product too. But it kind of got a rapturous reception, didn't it? And it kind of put it to the top of the list of films that we apparently needed to see. So we rushed to catch up with it this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It was on the peripherals of our kind of, we scheduled a film podcast, and it was there. It was like a possibility. It was a possibility.
It's one of those ones that's like, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. But then the buzz became quite strong, so we decided, we can tie The Long Walk in, because there was a minute when we thought we might just do a double Sight and Sound episode. Because it is a little bit slower in terms of releases around this time. But then The Long Walk came out, and we thought, screw this, let's go watch The Long Walk. Boy, did we pick the week to watch it, but we're keeping it light. But yeah, it's how would you describe The Long Walk, Kris?
Well, you know what? I think a lot of people would describe the film as being pretty harrowing and quite a traumatic experience. I don't know if it's just keeping it light again today, but there's a lot of shit happening in the world, and I think desensitization, which I think is a big theme in the film too, has applied to me in my real life too. So I saw The Long Walk, I was like, I've seen worse. But it was, what, it was pretty. It's popcorn entertainment, fundamentally, and that comes from Francis Lawrence, the film's director. He is famous for pretty much doing I don't know, 80% of the Hunger Games franchise and still
Yeah.
doing the Hunger Games franchise.
Yeah, how many has he done now? He's done.
I think he did Catching Fire all the way up to
Yeah, so
nine.
he's done
Yeah.
4 out of 5 Hunger Games.
Yeah. Did he do both Mockingjay? So yeah, I mean, like, it'd be 5, including the one coming out soon. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that makes me realize as well. He obviously directed Philip Seymour Hoffman in his final roles, and now here he is with Philip's son, Cooper Hoffman, in this new dystopian future with a new set of games and rules. Which is interesting, right? Like, it's interesting. He's clearly drawn to these kinds of stories. Or the studios are like, you know how to do this. Do another one.
Yeah, I have a confession to make, Alex, and I don't know if you can clear this up for me.
Yeah.
When we get into talking about the film in detail, but I've never done this in years, probably since I was a teenager. But we struggled getting into the town centre on a busy Saturday midday,
Ooh.
and struggled to get parking, all that jazz. We were 13 or 14 minutes late for the film. The time, which would be usually safe because the film usually starts 20 minutes after.
Okay, cool.
But 13 minutes into its, scheduled time, the film already started. So
Oh, wow.
we were at the car journey. We were halfway through the car journey that Cooper Hoffman has with his mother at the start of the film.
Oh, yeah.
So the movie's got a lot of world building going on, or a lot of subtle world building, and I don't know if I missed anything or not. I'm just making sure. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did, but maybe I did.
No, it is, the very opening scene is the car journey, and it is very ambiguous.
I thought so.
Unless, if you hadn't seen the trailers, you would have been like, ooh, what are they discussing? But it's more of a kind of like, why are you doing this? Like, I need to do this, Mum. I need to do this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the story is very, very simple, isn't it? It's like, it's being quite vague, but in a way that you kind of get the picture from just every conversation that's happening in this film.
There is text.
Yeah.
I just remembered.
Oh.
There is text at the start, and it is the email or text or something that Cooper gets to say, congratulations, you've been picked to go on the walk. You volunteered to be part of the lottery, and you've won. Come to the starting point and get ready to engage in the long walk. And there might be a little bit of something like there was a civil war, and this is, we're doing the long walk now. Maybe we should find the text. Maybe we should buy you in on the text. Should we see if we can find the text?
Yeah, I think so. And then the picture's complete for me. But yeah, basically, we are living in an alternative America. So there's a little bit of that, the Hunger Games of it all is kind of creeping in, because everyone's kind of wearing modern clothes, but sort of not wearing modern clothes. People are driving 1950s cars, but they're all driving modern tanks. There's a lot of like a mesh of culture or American iconography going on in the background. So
I can't find the text.
That's absolutely fine. But I believe what you said. I got the flavor.
Yeah, like, you kind of understand everything you need to know going into the film is kind of given to you in the trailer anyway. So yeah, I feel your pain though. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, because it's like,
rarely happened, as I know it's rarely happened to you, but when it does, it's a pain in the ass, and you don't know whether to be like, do I stick this out? Am I like, what do I do?
The struggle with that is, it's more like, I kind of did realize I didn't think I missed much, but it's more the settling in, isn't it? It's more like, right, I've got to like find the rhythm. I've just rushed from the car into here, and I'm like, oh no, I'm watching a movie, and it's like getting that into your brain for 5 minutes.
Yes.
But once the walk started, I was fine. I was, the movie's captivating enough where I was, locked in fairly quickly.
To be honest, we probably had a somewhat similar experience, because the guy next to me was deciding to get his packaged popcorn out during the opening scene.
He's got to save money.
So right next to me, all I heard was for about 5 minutes. And he also, trying to keep it light.
He's pissed.
When he finished with the popcorn, he then decided to fold it up several times, rustling it at the same time, but
My God.
He had a girl sitting next to him, and I was like, somebody tell this guy. Like, I don't want to be the one to tell this guy, but you should be telling this guy. What the hell are you doing?
People don't care. I mean, the all-time Lauren has caught me heavy breathing if I'm really into a scene, and I just get the side eye, and she doesn't even have to say anything. I'm like, oh shit, I did it again, haven't I? That's my worst sin. But,
are you I'm like, not to derail this conversation, but I feel like I'm very self-conscious at the cinema. I'm like, I want to just blend into the background. I do not want to be a nuisance to anyone, but it felt like everybody in the screening did not feel that way.
Look, we can bring it to this broad topic as, like we have in private all the time, that people generally just don't care about other people anymore and other people's experiences. Ours were fine. I mean, it was the typical Saturday crew bringing nachos and dips in and all sorts of smelly hot dogs and everything. Like, you could, everything under the sun. But everybody was pretty well behaved and pretty well into the movie, even though it was quite busy. Was it the same for you?
Nobody was well behaved. It was very busy.
Nobody was well behaved.
Well, I guess the majority probably were, but when you get the few. So we had like the trifecta of rustling right next to me, just across the aisle. Guy, like whenever there was a slow moment, would get his phone out, and the brightness was way up. And at one point, he like forgot to turn it off and just like held it in his hand, and it shone directly onto us, and we could see on his screen was like a mobile game. Like, dude,
God, man.
I feel sorry for you. It's not even a long film. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Brain rot. And like, the movie isn't boring at all.
It's an hour and 40 minutes. I feel sorry for you that you can't not look at your phone in that time.
Wow.
And then
imagine at home. Must be even worse. Yeah.
And then like behind, but like a few aisles behind, but enough that you could hear them, was the like nattering about plot points. It's like, this isn't your fucking living room.
Oh my goodness.
This is different.
People think they're a genius for working something that the movie quite clearly tells you.
Yeah.
I will get back to the film in a second, but like, it's fine. Like, you know what? I've started to realize that tangents are okay, and people enjoy them, and I enjoy them when I listen to podcasts.
And this is therapy. I feel like this is therapy, right?
This is therapy. I got the same experience when I went to see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker film for the first time.
Yeah.
And people thought they were like detective, clues. Clues. So like the first time when they were watching that, I could hear people audibly saying, "Oh, she's not real," and everything like that out loud, and like all the plot points at the end, and like, yeah, we're all watching the same movie as you. I mean, you're like, yeah, we get it. You see one movie a year. It's very nice for you. But yeah,
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. And like the thing with the packet folding, I had to say, my dad does that at home. When I go visit at home and we're watching movies, like, he'll get a packet of crisps and he'll like finish the packet. Even that's annoying in a living room. And then afterwards, he'll fold it very slowly until he can't fold it anymore, until it's like a little tiny square. And like, he doesn't even know he's doing it. And I'm staring at him. And like, some people just don't get it. Some people just don't think about other people, but we think about other people, and we think about our listeners, and we know that they want us to move on.
Yes. Yes. It's true. All right, where were we on the film? You missed a bit of the start, but it doesn't matter. You know what you're getting with this film. This film is very simple in a way. We are on the walk.
Very simple.
Where you have to walk faster than 3 miles an hour. And there is a selection. I think it's like 52 kids, or I think they're just over the age of 18. A lot of them, they have all kind of volunteered for this. It is because it's a lottery system. There's not the Hunger Games in the way of like, it's terrifying if you get your name picked out. Like, these people want to do it because the reward at the end is like more money than you could ever think of in this dystopian world. So it is this idea that it is the lottery, but with death involved. I'm not 100% sure why we're all so eager to join this thing, which could end in your death, but we're here. And the film, I think maybe, I don't know. Actually, I don't. Apart from maybe like a dream sequence or two, we do not pull away from the walk at all, right? Like, we are.
No, there are
stuck in the walk.
Back flashes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very simple film, and if you go beneath the 3 miles an hour, if you go off the track, then you get shot, and it's also televised to the world of which we are kind of having to figure out a little bit as to what's gone on through the dialogue in the film and how these boys interact with each other and their stories. So it does leave a lot up to the imagination. It's not as well thought out as you get in Hunger Games, where you get to see what the world is like before going into the games, and then after the games you get to see how that reacts. And then the whole point of the Hunger Games at the end is like, obviously we're trying to overthrow the terrible government, whatever it is in the capital that kind of is inflicting all this hate on people. So yeah, it's like it's an even grimier, dingier version of that, but you know, all the meat is gone, and we're at the bare bones of this thing.
Exactly why I asked you the question if there was something that I missed, because it did seem so deceptively simple throughout the film. I felt like, I mean, I must be missing something else, like just to kind of add a little bit of some more sauce to the pan. But no, it is simple, but like that's not an issue for me completely. I think director Francis Lawrence, his experience with dystopian narratives in Hunger Games seems to be an evolution to him as a filmmaker here. I think it's a step forward and a step backward in a way. Like there does seem to be an evolution, because in like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, his last movie, the camera was very mobile and swung around, and like the action in the fighting arena is like you know, like some sort of giant pendulum. But here it's like, it's cinematic, but in a classic old school way. It almost feels like a play, you know, where the camera does what it needs to do, but there's enough restraint to know it's a film about performances and the relationships between characters. And I think that is the film's strength ultimately. I think Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, I think David Johnson in particular, he is incredible. And Free for Free, of the three films I've seen him in, Riley and Alien Romulus in this, he is a star. Yeah,
he's incredible. I think for both of us coming out of Alien Covenant, we were like, this guy's insane. Like, I remember watching it going like, who is this guy? And then realizing I had watched him in Rye Lane the year prior.
Three completely different roles.
And he's so good in this. Like, he's an incredible actor. He's very good at kind of bringing warmth to roles which don't always have it. Because in Alien Covenant, he's a replicant. And here he is, you know, somebody who is like, I guess he's not a cold character because there's warmth to him from the start, but what he's setting out on is this journey which is like, I need to win. And everybody behind me right now needs to die.
Yeah, but there's also this paternal masculinity to him as well. Like there's this guy, you know, if I'm going to stick with anybody on this journey, it's going to be him. You know, even if he is going to stab me in the back at some point, potentially, you know, he'll probably be the last one to do it. So, it's a fascinating. And Cooper Hoffman's great too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those two performances, which are your lead performances, are just they're both outstanding, and there's so much like gravitas to them. And I liked what I liked about this film, because it is quite a violent, shocking film at times.
There's plenty of shocking gore. Yeah,
I feel like the emotion doesn't come from those moments. It's almost
they shock,
but it is interesting how it gets you are desensitized to it by the end. That first kill is probably the most shocking kill. I would say. And also kind of is like, we are going to show kids being shot. And you're like,
it becomes expected after that.
But those moments aren't kind of tear-jerking moments compared to the camaraderie that happens between certain people within the group. And it's those camaraderie moments which were the moments that kind of filled me with a bit of like, you know, teary eyes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You're rooting for our characters. Yeah.
So I liked that the emotional moments came from that, and it wasn't just torture porn in a way of like, even though it gets a little bit like, we all know
some characters,
we all know the majority of them are gonna die. Some characters get it worse than others. There's no doubt. I do feel like this film kind of like found its flow and didn't kind of move away from that. We would have walk and talk, a little bit of conflict, somebody would get shot, music swells.
Yeah.
Back to walk and talk. Reveal some
Yeah.
more about the characters. A little bit of conflict. Somebody gets shot. And I did feel like I'm like we're just getting to the end and we're just doing the same kind of cog. We're just like
Sure. That's why I sort of have reservations to like jump out of my seat and cheer for this movie. I really enjoyed this movie, but you know, there's a lot of some secondary characters like Lake, for example, that they lack a lot of depth. You know, with their motivations and backstories not fully explored. You know, it leads to like a less impactful emotional connection to the film. But the film's focus on the central duo may result in underdeveloped arcs for other participants in the walk. So I do feel like while the performances were good, they did feel that they jumped off the book of tropes from like insert YA book here, you know, as very has that Hunger Games YA feel to it, where we have, you know, there's the one asshole who we know is going to be there to poke the bear the entire film and going to be with us to the end as our antagonist. We have the physically weaker boys, the athlete, the dorky one with glasses. He wants to write a book about this, you know, the whole thing. So we know who's going to be with us by the end of the story. As soon as you see them all line up and do the first mile, you're like, right, this is our final 6 or 7. You know?
Yeah.
So and there's a little bit of the portrayal of sort of the world building. I don't know. It kind of kept me a little bit at arm's length as well. Did you find this as well? Like I'm thinking about, you know, sort of when they walk through the towns and there are these sort of like, you know, Dust Bowl towns where they seem sort of vacant, and there's a burning car on the side of the road, and the other side of the road there's a family having a picnic watching them, and it seems to happen over and over and over again, and it kind of, I don't know, there's something about it that just felt a little bit cheap and inauthentic about that kind of pulled me out of the film a little bit. It kept it looking a bit like, you know, like a sort of a 12A kids movie in a way. There was something about it that was just a little bit. It took away from the gravitas from the book's otherwise sort of the movie's book like feel to it. You know.
Yes. Agreed. I thought it left a lot to be desired, and because I didn't know enough about this world, it was difficult to completely understand the stakes of, you know, what are we going home to? What are we not going home to? What is at play here? Like, why are you so desperate to be a part of this other than the money? And then, like, how much money are we talking if this is an America that is, you know, has a terrible economy according to Mark Hamill, and you know, is this kind of, it's not a wasteland, but it is a war. It has been destroyed somewhat by war, a civil war.
It almost resembles like you know, it kind of had like a Steinbeck, like America has a bit of a Steinbeck look to it in this film, where it kind of reminded me of like Grapes of Wrath or of Mice and Men, where, you know, we were reverting back to that Dust Bowl era of America. Yeah,
I agree. And it leaves a lot to be desired, I think, in a way that doesn't help it. I think the film likes that it's a bit ambiguous, because it is quite an ambiguous film, but I feel like I did need something more to kind of understand fully the stakes of this whole thing.
And a backflash scene of
spoiler warning.
Cooper Hoffman's dad, when he dies, we're spoilers, aren't we?
Yeah,
yeah. We'll post production put this back in.
Spoiler warning.
Obviously, there's a big revelation that happens later on, where Cooper Hoffman's kind of being a little bit cagey about where his dad's been to the other characters, and we get the backflash through a dream sequence that takes us back to the night where Mark Hamill's major point blank shoots his dad for defying the totalitarian regime, and it's very war politics for babies, isn't it? It's very much like he brings him out in front of the house, and it's like, I will not, I will defy you, or something like that, and he just shoots him, and it's like, it couldn't get more simple, and it's hard to kind of like, and then that comes across in the dad's performance too, which is, you know, it does what it needs to do. So it's hard to feel completely emotionally wrapped up in that.
Yeah. What did you think of Mark Hamill's performance as the general?
Not a fan overly, and that's kind of the thing that in the trailers, because he was very heavily featured in the trailers, which made me think I'm not sure about this film, and I'm glad he was. Yeah, I'm glad he's not in it a lot.
You're saying this about Luke Skywalker.
I know. I love Luke Skywalker. I love Mark Hamill generally, but you know, he's playing it purposefully cartoony, and the Major is a bit of an automaton. And you don't think so? You know, like,
oh no, sorry, I was in Helldivers mode for a second there.
Automaton. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anybody who doesn't play Helldivers, like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, so he's a bit like, even whenever the boys are having emotional moments where they're like yelling at their captors, or like he just kind of gives almost like a scripted response back to them, going like, "That's it, boys, you got the sacks," and everything like that.
Yeah, it's a bit hammy. It's a bit hammy from Hamill, if you ask me.
It's a bit. It's almost like he's in voice acting Mark Hamill mode, as opposed to like, maybe he spent too much time doing, cartoons and voiceovers maybe lately, that it's sort of gone into that realm. But you know what? I think what they did, that performance was on purpose, and that could be more an issue by design, as opposed to, behind the camera between Mark and Lawrence, as opposed to something that is actually just a fault of him as an actor. Maybe that's just a conceptual choice.
Yeah, and like, even though he is hamming it up, and like you said, that could be a directorial choice. Like, I'm sure that will work for some people. Just didn't work.
I think so too.
It didn't work for me. It felt too cartoony in this world that didn't want to be too cartoony. I felt.
Yeah.
It's almost at the end of the day, the simplicity of this film is great, but it also works against it quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't. Yeah, there is another way to tackle the antagonist in this story being a bigger picture thing. It didn't have to be. I think by focusing it on one man, it almost like limits the scope of the story. You know what I mean? It's obviously something that's much bigger than the Major, but it almost makes it feel like he's this world Sauron, and he's just like, it's like, it makes the world feel smaller. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, very much agreed on that level. Since we're in spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry.
Did you like the ending?
See, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
I think the ending was uninspired and sort of predictable. Yeah.
I did wonder where this film was leading, and there was a moment where they talk about all slowing down at once, and I thought, oh, we're going to do the Hunger Games thing.
Yeah, we're all gonna kiss our fingers and play the sky. Yeah.
Which it doesn't do. But like, the ending feels kind of convoluted and rushed in a way. Cooper wants his wish, so you win riches beyond your wildest imaginations if you win the long walk, and also one wish. And Cooper Hoffman's wish is to have a gun and shoot the general. Obviously, he's not going to wish to shoot the general. He's just going to wish for a gun in that moment, so he can shoot the general who killed his dad. And then David Johnson's character, his wish, at one point he alludes to the idea that it might be that he would like 2 winners for the long walk, or something along those lines. His character has always been about
redemption,
playing the long game, being peaceful and not succumbing to violence, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was why, in the end, Cooper Hoffman almost allows him to win, because David Johnson is mentally, his values, he is, at the end of the day, a better person than Cooper Hoffman, who has gone there for revenge.
Yeah.
And in doing so, harmed his family, all this kind of stuff. Like, there's no good ending for Cooper Hoffman, even if he is being slightly turned by the values of David Johnson. I almost thought like he sacrificed himself because David Johnson was the better person, actually deserved to win because of his values. So then for him to then turn around and use Cooper Hoffman's wish to shoot the general in a way which, like, he definitely gets shot afterwards. It's very ambiguous as to, like, because the credits roll not long after that, but everybody's disappeared and you hear gunshots and like that kind of stuff. Like, the idea is like he's dead, so everybody's dead now. Like, what was that for?
Yeah,
that doesn't, and that's different to the book. Apparently, the book has a different ending.
Yeah, he sort of had his cake and had it too, didn't he? He avenges his friend, but there's also, yeah, I think it's the whole last sort of conversations that the boys have on the last sort of miles in that movie is about, the good that can come out of this. If whoever survives this has to be able to do something different, use the money to compensate loved ones who are suffering from the death of the other boys, or just doing something progressive that will have ripple effects for this long walk in the future. And I think that the movie's message at the end is kind of leaving you with the hope that, that his character is going to do that. But, yeah. I think it also just wants the audience to have this out.
It doesn't matter, does it?
Well, yeah, so, like, what do you think? Do you think the long walk is done? Like, it's just gone now?
Oh, no, I don't think the long walk's gone. I think he kills the general, and it doesn't matter. It's still going to happen next year. And he's dead now, right? He's not alive.
You're David Johnson?
Yeah, he's dead.
Well, wasn't it the sort of thing is that did they establish earlier on in the movie that he kind of, the major calls the shots, and like if he's not there, then there's no orders to follow, so they can't shoot him? I thought there was
talk of like we wouldn't know, like if we were to shoot him, would they shoot the winner? Like that's never been done. Like there's never not been a winner of the long walk. But to me, I read the ending, and maybe this is to do with the ambiguousness of it all. To me, I read the ending was he shoots the general. Then he turns around. The city's empty, right?
Yeah.
And he walks off. It cuts to black. The credits roll, and you hear gunshots as the credits roll.
Yeah.
So that to me was like he's being shot.
Yeah. It's like the ending of First Reformed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he definitely drank the toilet.
Yeah. So like everybody's dead. Like the general's dead. Fine, that's great. Or is it? I don't know. But
unsatisfying either way. I mean, like, there's just something I don't know about it. There's nothing
convoluted with its morality as to what was the right thing to do there.
And sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, pretty entertaining film. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's very difficult to say entertained because it's harrowing, right? Like, it's kids getting shot.
It has Hollywood trappings.
It has Hollywood trappings. I felt things. And the
movie's funny too. Like it
does have some
jokes. It has its time. It builds. Ben Wine. He's a funny character. It has ultimately a very sad ending. But he's the kid who wishes for 10 women at the end of he was giving me he was reminding me a lot of Corey Feldman in Stand By Me. That's sort of why he's cracking, which is funny because that's a Stephen King adaptation too. So there's a similarity. Maybe that was on purpose. But yeah, like it reminded me of a lot of older Hollywood, more simple 1950s productions. It reminded me a lot of like sort of early like Mark Twain books or Steinbeck books. It gave me a lot of the old America, but it had sort of some of its Hollywood trappings, and its tropes were just kind of keeping me from really thinking, oh, this thing's a masterpiece. Like a lot of people seem to be thinking it is. It's very entertaining, very harrowing at the same time. But it's a really good time at the cinema. It's definitely worth going to see. I was thoroughly entertained. I can strongly recommend this movie.
Yeah, I recommend. It has been a week of violence in the real world. So
not the film's fault, unfortunately.
Not the film's fault, but if you need a break, what I'm saying is this doesn't help. It doesn't help. It is either the right.
It's more of the same. Yeah.
It's either the right film for this time or the wrong film for this time, depending on which way you go. It's not an escape. It's not an escape from that. Give it a few weeks. I could probably recommend it more strongly.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So big recommend from us. Well, big recommend, soft recommend for us. Yeah.
A mix. But a mix, but we like.
Okay.
This is the section of the show where we catch up with our ongoing series, The Blindspots, on the Sight and Sound Greatest Films of All Time list. Today we have 2 films for you.
Whoa.
So let's get into the first one, which is Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love. We're in the top 10 now. And now that we're in the top 10, we're doing every single film, apart from 2001, because we did do an episode on that, within the last year.
Sure.
I think.
Yep.
It makes sense. We don't want to talk about the same film twice. You're going to get bored. That being said, In the Mood for Love is number 5 on the list. I have seen it. And Chris, this was your first time, I believe.
Yeah, Lou, it's not like my first rendezvous with Wong Kar-wai. I am a fan. I have seen quite a good portion of his earlier work. What's your relationship with him, Alex? Have you seen all of the films?
So this is the first film of his that I saw.
Oh, wow.
The second film of his that I saw was also part of this Sight and Sound series. It was Chungking Express.
Mm-hmm. Which you were lukewarm on, I remember.
Lukewarm on, yes. And at the moment, that is the only 2 films of his that I have seen. And I like In the Mood for Love. I know a lot of people love In the Mood for Love. It is up there as a lot of people's favorite films. A lot of people love this film, and it is a mood piece. Like it's in the title. It's a mood. I am very favorable on this film, but I do not love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am somewhere in between. I am somewhere in between very like and love, but not quite like my favorite film of all time. I do feel that in terms of like he is a filmmaker that's all about yearning. The movies I've watched, Days of Being Wild, which Fallen Angels, Chungking Express, and this, they're all films about yearning, and I love the childish nature of Chungking Express. Is it's yearning. It's very like first love, and it uses music. I think he always uses music in such a incredible way.
Absolutely.
The Cranberries and Dreams and California Dreaming. Like I think about those scenes really often, and so you don't ever you don't recall his movies with the plot at the forefront of your mind. I think In the Mood for Love, maybe that is the closest he gets to that in terms of it being in tandem with the mood piece. I think that the quality of the performances and the relationship that's central to that film and the intricacy of that relationship is just as vital as the filmmaking. It's a beautiful movie. I mean, the first thing you think of are the costumes, the period setting, the color palette, everything. The smoke cascading out of cigarette butts. It's just like the whole thing is dripping with style, and it's gorgeous and meticulously thought of.
Yeah. The first thing I think of when I think of In the Mood for Love is the colors. It's like red, yellow, green.
Oh, the greens in his movies are so beautiful. Yeah.
It's strong. It's like neon soaked but warm and sepia all at the same time.
It's like if the Matrix was an art house movie at times, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. So like, tell me more about your first time viewing. I want to know more.
Yeah. Well, this isn't actually my first time viewing it completely. I did put this on a few years ago. Well, no, it is really. A few years ago, I did put this on very late one night. And 5 minutes in, I heard the music. I've seen, it was my first Wong Kar-wai film. I knew what I was getting into. But I was recognized. It was one of those moments where I was sort of recognizing what I was in for. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to save this for the right day. You know what I mean? And quickly left the film. So yeah, coming into this for the first time properly. Yeah, I mean, the movie begs to be rewatched. And I'm not saying that I was at arm's length for this movie, because I wasn't. I was completely enraptured once I kind of got into it. But there's a lot of dynamics at play here. It's not traditional. It's almost like a movie. If you don't read the plot of this film, you would almost watch this film for the first time and expect it to be a movie about our 2 main characters, Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung, having an affair together. Yeah. You would think that is what this movie is going to be about, not a movie about them playing detective and reenacting their partners having affairs with each other.
Yeah, trying to understand their own emotions about this whole thing, rather than just them becoming close. That is obviously a thing that happens, but it is not the end goal.
Yeah, and Wong Kar-wai's characters behave always in non-conventional ways, right? And I think that's actually what makes his movies so popular to me, is that they're non-conventional, but humans are non-conventional. Humans are strange. Humans are enigmatic, and that's something that a lot of films, especially in the West, kind of don't capture. We all kind of behave in a certain way that movie tropes for 100 years plus have decided or developed us to behave. And I think that, where you think of Chungking Express, you think of, him going to, getting the can of pineapples and checking the dates every day, the ritual of that, a very weird, specific thing to do. And here, so the plan is they both find out that their partners are cheating coincidentally with each other. So, okay, well, let's play detective here. Let's also reenact the events, but let's not make the same mistakes as they did. So it's like they're doing the thing. They're canoodling with canoodling. So they're having almost a sexual relationship through dialogue and through a connection of friendship. And what it leaves then is this sort of tension in the film, fully through the stylistic choices of the film, which is it's free colors, free micro gestures, it's just free music, it's free everything, and you're waiting for the moment, like you're waiting for the front cover. The front cover is Maggie Chun with her neck held high as he's kissing her neck, and you're waiting for that big moment of sort of a collision, but it never really happens, and it leaves you with this sense of longing, this sense of unfulfillment at the end of the film, and it's very it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is, and I do sometimes wonder if it's because they are reenacting this relationship, and because the relationship that they have is almost out of convenience rather than this primal urge towards each other, which is why maybe I'm like slightly cold on it compared to other films in this genre, of which some of my favorite films of all time, that kind of like lovers who can't really be together, or there's a time limit on it, or like they're destined not to be together. And some of my favorite films, Eternal Sunshine, Before Sunrise, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, they all have that kind of center point within the relationship.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something about them reenacting this stuff, and it does feel like a relationship of convenience in a way that almost leaves me like, I don't know if they are destined to be with each other, or like I don't feel heartbroken that they haven't quite got there. I feel sad for them and heartbroken for them that their relationships with their wives and their husbands that they already have has not worked out, and they deserve better, and maybe they deserve each other. But like, I don't think they have to be with each other by the end of this film.
I obviously time is a huge element. There's many close-ups of, clock and time passing constantly. And there's a part of me that thinks, when I was watching, and I think Maggie Chun's amazing. She's amazing in everything. She's like she is one of my favorite, Chinese Hong Kong based actors. Yeah, she's just been in everything, and she's like, she's kind of like Michelle Yeoh, where like constantly working and always amazing. But Tony Leung, for me, I think he is just, I always find him an absolute presence in any film. He is like, sometimes you think, right, you're looking at the most handsome man he ever lived. He looks so cool. The way Wong Kar-wai drapes him in clothing is just like, you're like, oh my god, like 1960s. Yeah, suits didn't get better than that, did they? It's like what I'm thinking half the time. So, but you're watching this, and I get the feeling from their very first interaction. They're all sharing this apartment complex, where it's got a nosy landlady who stays up playing mahjong with the neighbors to fucking early hours of the morning, making all sorts of noise, and it gives them the space so that they can kind of live their lives kind of like in secret and go out and for people to have affairs. But I had that feeling as soon as Tony Leung saw saw her for the first time, that although he was being polite and although he's technically not giving anything away, I still felt an initial attraction from him to her.
Okay.
And this is a movie about repression and keeping up appearances and poise, but it's also a movie about time, being too late for everything. You know what I mean?
Yes. Especially those endings.
Especially those endings. But everything in the film, everyone tells their emotions at the wrong time. It's too late. Everybody becomes emotional when it's too late, and people resign themselves to a life that they don't deserve, but they're too afraid to act on it, and that's why our two lovers kind of miss out in the end. Especially Tony Leon. It's heartbreaking when you get to the end of the film, and it's the revolving door. He was there, she was right in front of him, but he couldn't see it, and it's far fetched, and it's a film, but Wong Kar-wai works in these sort of levels that it makes it feel like it's the most important thing on earth, and it doesn't feel hammy at all. It just feels beautiful and sad.
I implore you to watch the deleted scenes on your box set, because that's something I don't have access to. I have only heard so much about the deleted scenes. Are you aware of how Wong Kar-wai works?
It's not coming to me straight away, so please,
that's all right.
please.
I'm here to educate you.
Please educate me.
So he goes into these films with ideas and kind of like little nuggets here and there. Mm-hmm. It took 15 months to film this film. He writes the dialogue on the day. The film changes whilst they're filming. It changes in the edit. He's filming so much. He's going, maybe we'll do a bit of this. Maybe we'll do a bit of that. 15 months. I think the cinematographer for this film had to leave at one point. It was just like, I need to go do other things. I'm done.
I'm tied to this thing. Yeah,
I can't be doing this for over a year. And apparently there's a whole other film in the edit of which you get to see in the deleted scenes of them consummating this relationship, of them meeting each other again in the future. A whole other kind of storylines which aren't there. And you got to give it to Wong Kar-wai to kind of be filming that much over a year's worth of stuff.
Wow.
To then be able to assemble it into a film that is just above an hour and a half. Like, it's a succinct film and it works in its favor.
It does, yeah, 100%.
But I don't have access to that box set, but you do. You gotta tell me about these deleted scenes.
I'll watch it. Is he on the record for what the version should be, or is he happy with this like theatrical cut? Is this like the definitive version still?
So I can't tell you so much in terms of the edit, but I know that when he did the restoration from a couple years ago, he was playing with the colors a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been some musical choices changed as well. I'm not sure. That's where I'm not as much of an expert in. But in terms of the cut, I don't think he's ever played with the cut, as far as I'm aware.
Interesting. I think it's the right choice. I think it's better to keep that breathlessness to it. We never really get satisfied in that way. I think that's to the movie's favor. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I don't know the musical choices, but I love the use of Nat King Cole in here. Like his sort of Spanish rendition of perhaps. That's really cool. That kind of is repeating. It's very haunting. It really the music carries such emotional weight. Like he knows he's kind of like the Hong Kong Martin Scorsese in terms of like knowing when to put a needle drop in and like making it work perfectly, but except he only uses like, I have 2 or 3 songs in this movie and I'm going to use them repeatedly, but you're going to love it every single time.
Yeah, and it works and like that tune kind of stays in your head for sure.
Yeah, what else is there to say? I feel like there's a lot of also nuance that I feel people from Hong Kong might get from this film that probably a lot of viewers like ourselves probably wouldn't have, and there's a lot about societal expectations in here, which is quite it's all very much in the background. There's a lot about female and male dynamics. There's power dynamics in here too, not just to do with relationships, but also with like everybody that's living in this shared apartment too. There's a lot of there's a lot of things like a man should do and a woman shouldn't do. She shouldn't challenge, she shouldn't challenge, her husband, or the poor wife that comes home and she's working all day while you're a journalist and you're at home at normal time. That shouldn't be right. So there's a lot of like that sort of stuff, and there's political stuff in the background too that's just not really touched upon, but it's all there. But I imagine if you're living through this, there's a lot more to kind of get from this movie too. I think the film feels timeless though, and I think I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Like I said, with half of these BFI movies, I'm a broken record, but I think there's so much texture in his films. I can't wait to go back and probably fall more in love with it every time.
Yeah, I must say, although my rating on Letterboxd stayed the same, like I think I did enjoy it the second time round, knowing where it's kind of going and trying to just like look into the granular details a little bit more and try and get that understanding and kind of feel what those characters are feeling, like you said, even in the moments where they're not revealing anything.
Yeah.
And just seeing where that's all come from. But yeah, I was very happy to rewatch it, and had a great time.
Yeah, I'm so glad to just get this off the massive blind spot that it was.
Does it deserve its place in the list? Like, do you like? Is it a top 10?
It's such a weird, it's such a weird question. I think yes, I do think so. I think it is so meticulously and beautifully crafted, and I think you could literally go frame by frame of this film and tell me why it's the best film ever made, and I'll be like, yeah, it's fucking gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe that will flourish for me. For me, it's a near perfect film. I have nothing kind of keeping me away from saying that. But I don't think it's even my favorite Wong Kar-wai film. I do love Chungking Express because I do feel like that is him at his most overt, sure, and maybe at his least refined. But I do feel that even at his least refined, he's just like, it's just a big swing of a film, and I think that movie is so that its heart is bleeding so much, and all of them are worth seeing. I can't wait I want to watch, like The Grandmaster. I want to see what he's like at doing like an action movie, but with his slow motion sort of touch to it. I want to go, go back to see his first film as Tears Goodbye. He's just incredible. He's an incredible filmmaker.
Yeah.
What about you? How did you feel?
I feel somewhat similarly to you. Like, none of his films have blown me away, even though this is my favorite of his. Like, I still really like it. I think it's great. I've only seen 2 of his films though. There's so much love for him that I fully understand its place on the list. It's another one of those where it's like, I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but I can see why it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can fully see why. And there is a lot of love for In the Mood for Love. So lots of people are in the mood for it.
Well, there you go. I'm sure people listening have watched it, and I'm like the last one to catch up with it. So, but if you haven't seen it, you can buy the box set of the Wong Kar-wai box set for £100. It's very, very, very cost effective, and definitely doesn't come with any issues or scratch discs already pre-built into the box set like mine.
And you didn't, and you should definitely watch it before the warranty runs out, just in case there are any issues.
Yeah, like what do they expect? You just, as soon as you get it, you just rip the cellophane off and put all the movies on straight away. Yeah. Oh well. It's a good collector's item, Alex, if nothing else.
Brilliant.
All right, on to our next one.
So I won't do the full Sight and Sound spiel again, but we are now in number 4.
This is the part of the show where Alex and I, yeah, of course.
This is now number 4 in the Sight and Sound series. We are watching. We have seen Tokyo Story. How do you pronounce his first names? I only ever refer to him as Ozu. Yasujiro?
Yasujiro?
Yasujiro Ozu's Tokyo Story. This is the second Ozu film on the list, and I believe Kris. So this is a blind spot for both of us.
Sure.
Before this, we both saw Late Spring again for the first time, and then I have seen one other Ozu film, and then that's me done. No, it's not me done. But I've seen Good Morning, so
Oh wow.
that was it. And I like Tokyo Story, but in terms of the two Ozu films we've seen, and we probably shouldn't compare them, even though they are somewhat comparable. Late Spring I thought was a masterpiece, and Tokyo Story I really liked, and I saw what it was doing. It was good. I just didn't connect with it in the same way. Maybe I should talk like before. Like, oh my god, maybe
no, that's fine. Bleed, let your heart bleed. Go with the initial thoughts. Yeah.
But this film follows an elderly couple, Shushiki and his wife, or is it Shukishi? Shukishi?
Yes.
Shukishi and his wife Tomi, as they decide to go from their small village down to Tokyo to see their children, of which they have quite a few, but none of their kids seem to want to have anything to do with them. They kind of see them as a bit of a pain for being there, and they have to like move their lives around to now entertain these guys. On top of that, you have the widow of their late son who died in the war, Noriko, who is played by the same actress who played Noriko in Late Spring, right? Setsuko Hara, but not playing the same Noriko. But apparently she does play a lot of characters called Noriko in his films. It's like a running theme.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for, I don't blame him for keeping her on the payroll.
She's amazing. She's so good in this.
She beams in this movie.
Yeah. She is so good. I almost needed the film to be from her point of view again, but that's why we're kind of like, then you're leaning into Late Spring territory of like, it's just the Noriko film. But she seems to be the only person who gives them the time of day, and she's not even blood related to them. But it's also a film about how she is kind of holding on to the idea of her late husband and trying almost, I guess, to feel closer to him through his parents and that kind of relationship. It is, as Late Spring was, in a way, like this kind of like slow burn melodrama, relationship drama, where we're kind of learning about these characters as we go. You are peeling away layers of like what has caused so and so to feel like this, and what has happened in the past for them to feel certain ways, and it all works. But emotionally, and again, said at the start of the start of the episode, it's been a week. Maybe I'm not fully in a film mode, so I feel like potentially my experience of this has been tarnished by, I don't know, not having the greatest mental health week in the world.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this like, it works. Everything I'm watching works, which is kind of what I feel like I said about the Sight and Sound film last week.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not as emotionally connected. But I was like, I went and I've rewatched the trailer for Late Spring, and I quickly looked at my notes for it, and I was like, yeah, man, I was really into Late Spring. But Tokyo Story wasn't doing the same for me, despite the fact that I can tell that it's very good.
Wow. Well, you can definitely tell it's by the same filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
He definitely has a style. I'm gonna say I freaking loved this movie. I really love it, but it's. I don't know. I don't want to devalue. Like, maybe that you'd be like this anyway. Maybe you'd feel about this film the same way every time you'd watch it, no matter what mood. But I fell in love with it. This is exactly the sort of stuff I love. I love minimalist filmmaking from this era, where I feel like I'm watching one of the great plays.
Yeah. It's very naturalistic as well, isn't it? Like, it feels almost like you're watching a documentary at times.
Exactly, and it's a film where like technically nothing happens for 2.5 hours, but like, which sounds so boring, but everything happens, and it's like the dramas are so nuanced and dynamic. And I thought, I knew the plot kind of going in, which was going to be, old parents coming from the countryside, going to Tokyo, traveling all the way to Tokyo, which is a far distance away from them, to visit their kids in Tokyo for the first time. They've never been to the city. They're all going to be garishly mean to them, but it's not like that. It's kind of painfully relatable. But I feel for like anybody. I feel for anybody that's ever had any sort of obligation to any family member or friend, and maybe could have been kinder to them in a certain moment. Not and it's a lack of self-realization. The kids, and I think it's a lesson about how elderly people are often quite dehumanized, as they get to a certain portion of their life. And it's a worrying thing that we all have to deal with, is that we all, when we get to a certain age, we kind of become silly little, silly people that kind of are in the way, and our needs and wants are maybe not as important as the needs and wants of young people who are have to get up, they have to go to work, we have to do things that they make excuses constantly, like we can't take them out because I have to go to work, and they can do these things.
It's the guilt that you feel sometimes for having your own life, for having your own set of things you need to do. And I think you and I both live away from our parents. You live a flight away, so even more difficult to see them than me, who's only 2.5 hours away. And to some people that'll be close. I think of my brother, who's a flight across the Atlantic to see them. Very difficult.
Yeah.
The guilt of being like, I am having my own life. I'm doing this thing I want to do, and going, shit, but the people who raised me, I do need to check in. And obviously, none of our parents are as old as the parents in Tokyo Story.
It's so funny though,
it's
like
slightly different again, but I'm sure we both have those twangs of like, I should probably see them more.
Yeah, the thing that gave me a lot of sort of admiration and really tipped me over the edge, come the end of the film, is actually the surprising amount of wisdom that the film has. You think what we just talked about is the overarching message, which you think it's going to be a film from the 50s. It's going to wagging the finger at you gently, saying, respect your elders because they raised you and they're not going to be around forever. But there's also a wisdom that comes from our two elderly characters. It comes from Shigechi at the end of the film, where he plainly tells Noriko that, these things happen. You should not feel guilt. Yes, people grow apart. That's the natural order of things. It sucks, but unfortunately, life has to go on, and there's limited time for all of us, and you can do what you got to do. But there's a recognition that sometimes people do just kind of distant, not completely fade away, but they become more distant, and our lives develop, and we develop our own families, we grow our own families, and there's a wisdom in the recognition of that such a traditional an 80-year-old movie is kind of pondering these things that are sort of anti-traditional sort of points of view, but it can think of both of these ideas at the same time. So I still come away from the film thinking like, we should honor our grandparents more. We need to not dehumanize these people as much. But there's also the feeling that it's a circle of life, and we all have to kind of go through this, and it's normal to feel guilt, and it's normal to feel like we should do more, and we shouldn't feel ashamed for that. We should act on it, but we shouldn't beat ourselves up about it because it's the pecking order. It's a very wise thing that it's kind of it's got on the scales, and it balances those things perfectly.
It's a very good way of putting it, Chris. Very poignant.
Yeah, I mean, could you? I was thinking, like, I loved the POV shots in this. There's like any time that Shigechi and or Tomi and Noriko, the three of it's always when them three are having a conversation, because it's the only time in the films where people are actually connecting. And they're we get Noriko looking at us through the camera, and we've said it before, like she is just like anytime she smiles, which she constantly is smiling in this movie, and it's so warm, it's so real, it's just like this angel is beaming at you through the screen, and she is just like you can kind
she's
of
captivating, isn't she? You can see why Ozu was like, she's my muse.
she doesn't look like anybody I can kind of think of, right? She has a certain,
Mm.
she lived till she only passed away in 2015. She lived till she was
Mm.
95. And an interesting thing as well is Shigechi, or Chishu Ryu, who plays him, he's very good at playing an elderly old man, let's just say, because he's 49 in this movie. It's just crazy, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then
that is crazy.
he lived well until 1993. He was 88. And you're watching this movie and you're like, this guy's 5 years away from dying. And he's like, nope, he's got another 30, 40 years in him. Yeah, incredible. But this is the play
Yeah.
like thing too. It feels like everybody is so good.
He's the dad in Late Spring as well, isn't he?
And I think he's playing in a similar fashion, right?
Yeah, yeah. It is slightly confusing. Maybe some. Well, maybe it's not confusing, but it's almost like a theater troupe, isn't it? Where it's the same actors
That's a really good way of
playing
putting it,
similar
actually.
roles.
Yeah.
And Ozu's just like, now the story is this.
Yeah, the Ozu players. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Man, I do love the girl who plays Naruko. She's so good. She's so good.
She like, whenever like a lot of old Hollywood movies where they heavily light, the female protagonist whenever in a romantic pose and in that silent film fashion where they're beaming and they have to it's all smoke and mirrors. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, but the camera and the filmmaking doing the work. She doesn't have to do any of this. Setsuko Hara. She doesn't have to have any lights or film magic to make her look like how those Hollywood movies want their actresses to look like. She just has the goods, and I think she might be one of the most captivating screen presences. We're blushing over her here, but I think it's really well earned.
We are.
I think but I think it's really well earned. It's one of the things
yeah.
I think about when I think about this movie. I think about her. I think of her looking at me through the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, the themes are super relatable. It's a great family drama. It's a film about small gestures, use of space, incredible tight production. Like these settings that really transport you in this time and place, regardless if you never go outside really once, apart from the horrible beach location. But yeah,
is it horrible?
Well, not horrible. I mean, it was a horrible experience for them.
Same beach location as Only Yesterday, for anybody who watches our Ghibli series as well as our main shows. I'm not sure if everybody does, or but when in Only Yesterday, the young girl, she gets taken to Atama by her grandparents, and it's full of baths. So it's almost like a holiday destination, I guess.
Yeah, so it's like
an old school holiday destination.
Yeah, it's like Japan. Japan is super it's super it's like a multi-biome, isn't it? It's like you go to the north and it's like freezing snow everywhere, and then you go to the middle and it's very it's like a metropolis and small little cities and towns, and then you get to the south and it's like the Bahamas. It's like you could really go north to south and have you could experience all the world sort of like dynamics in one country. It's a fascinating place. I hope to visit one day. But yeah, I mean, I need to watch more Ozu films. I need to watch his theater troupe. I need to catch up on what else they're all up to, because I'm captivated. I love these types of films, man. I think they're really great. I think they still emotionally resonate today. And for being it's 2.5 hour play, but it's still cinematic. It's so restrained, and and it still can teach us something in the year 2025, and I think that's really cool.
Agreed. Would you? So obviously we've watched 2 Ozu films. I keep saying recently. I mean, Late Spring might have been last year now. Do you prefer Late Spring or do you prefer Tokyo Story?
I think I slightly prefer Tokyo Story.
Interesting.
I know I appreciate there's a recency bias element to that critique, but I do remember there were certain portions of Late Spring, although loved it, there were 1 or 2 saggier parts of that film. I remember. I remember, that film required a little bit more patience than even though I think it was a shorter film. Then I feel like this film had, it moved along very, very, in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
What about you? The two? You think you're Late Spring, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
A late spring guy, I think. After doing this series, yeah, I still think about Late Spring. I really love that film. Tokyo Story. Talking about it with you has definitely put it further up in my mind. And again, some of these films I'm like, different time, different place. Maybe even just watching it with you, I probably would have enjoyed it more. I'm a little jealous that your double bill went so well. You really loved In the Mood for Love and Tokyo Story, and you saw it one after the other, and I just like the cinematic joy that must have been happening yesterday.
Yeah, it was
Like,
it was nice. It was
I'm
nice.
jealous. I'm jealous.
Look, we're getting to that portion of a top, we're talking 100 top 100 films ever made. There's a lot of films ever made, and these are considered the best of them. And we're getting to that portion now where it's like, it's indisputable that all of these films that we were talking about are impeccably made and very hard to fault. And you liked Late Spring a lot more than Tokyo Story, and I felt, the opposite way. And so, but there's no difference in quality between those films. I think it's what touches you, when it comes to this level of craft now, the thing that separates us is what emotionally, grabs us in the moment more, and things that we might resonate with more. And I think that's, so craft is out of the question. It's all about taste now.
Nice. Joe, this is my second to last blind spot on the list. I only have one blind spot left, which is our final film, Jean Dillman. But however, we've obviously got two more films to watch before we get to that. Citizen Kane and Vertigo. Citizen Kane's going to be your first time, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those things, isn't it? It's like, I remember it was
big
on
boy.
Sky. It was like Sky. Remember Sky Movies back in the day when we had Sky TV at my parents' house, and it was one of those ones like I kind of flicked through the channels and I would watch 10 minutes here and there. I always caught it at the wrong time, and maybe when you watch like half-watch movies, you never get round to just sitting down and watching them. Very much aware of it. Of certain scenes, phrases from the film, shots from the film, Simpsons parodies of this film. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of get the big one. It's the big one, right?
I'm excited to watch it again.
The number one placeholder for decades on the Sight and Sound list.
Yes, right? And very much considered like one of the greatest films ever made. Like that was always the one that was like the top of, I don't know what list, but like that was heralded as that when I was growing up reading Empire magazines before I went to film school and all that kind of stuff. That was the shiny golden star of
It's the one that
film.
People are almost afraid to say is their favorite film of all time because they feel like they people will catch them out for being pretentious.
I have seen it. I saw it in the cinema in my Falmouth Uni cinema lecture hall. So that was cool. Didn't think it was the most amazing film ever made, but I also think I'm a completely different person to who I was when I sat down and watched it then. I'm not saying I'm going to go in thinking this is the greatest film ever made, but I've got this feeling I'm going to enjoy it more this time.
I think the thing is, when people put something as their favorite film of all time, I'm not speaking for you, but for me, I always want my favorite films. I'm an emotional person, and I want to leave emotional movies that are about humans being emotional, and I want those to be my favorite movies because I that is my favorite kind of cinema, and I know that Citizen Kane isn't exactly that experience. So, but for somebody else, it's completely what cinema means to you. I don't know. Are you the same where you're just like my top 4 letterbox thing, or if you were to ask me on the red carpet, is just like a bleeding heart to me. It's like it's all the things
it's
I
all
love.
It's big emotions.
Yeah,
it's
I like big swings,
big sweeping,
especially when they work.
Emotions. Yeah. I know. And I'm off to go see one of my favorite films of all time next week. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Never seen it on the big screen. And Michelle Gondry and Charlie Kaufman are coming to do a Q&A.
You're going?
Bristol. I'm going.
That's amazing.
I'm going with some of the Cineboys.
Oh,
I wish I was going with you if it wasn't midweek. You'd be there with me as well. Man, I cannot wait.
Well,
that's
you
a
have to
tangent,
report.
but...
You have to report back here because that's going to be a really special experience, obviously.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it when I saw their names come up as doing a pre-film Q&A. So yeah, very excited. Very excited. I've never seen it on the big screen. One of those films. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I've only watched it like a DVD. ridiculous.
It should only serve the film better. It's one of the
Surely.
the whole movie's obviously, if everyone's seen it, it's a big dream fest, isn't it? So
Yeah.
when you're in a cinema and you're locked in, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I've also been kind of like, there's been a couple of chances that I almost got to see it in the cinema over the last couple of years. I think it had its 30th anniversary.
Yeah, I think multiplexes were
No, it
showing
would
it
have been
recently.
30th. It was 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. Every now and then it pops up around Valentine's Day, surprisingly. And I've never got the chance to see it. I think we did a podcast recording on one of the nights where I could have gone to see it, but I was like, nah, we got to do the podcast recording.
Yeah, you asked me
But
if
you
you
know,
could go, and I was like, no.
I'm kind of glad I didn't go now, though, because like this is going to be a cool way of seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, because you would have been like, right, I've seen the movie, but I'm going just to see my guys now.
Yeah,
But yeah. Now you're just going like, yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I love this movie, and I'm gonna go see the talent behind it. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't In the Mood for Love, so we should probably
Yeah.
tangent out into our closing segments.
Okay, let's do it.
So, as we alluded to, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be getting to Citizen Kane at some point, as well as I think the next big film on the list is One Battle After Another, which is getting a lot of good buzz at the moment. The new Paul Thomas Anderson film. Which, why not? It's Paul Thomas Anderson.
I'm keeping myself away from the buzz, Alex. I'm keeping
Don't go. Yeah, but I mean, it's a Paul Thomas Anderson film. Like, you're hyped either way, right?
I mean, I reckon he's probably the only American filmmaker with an objectively perfect filmography. Maybe is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
I don't think one of his films is bad.
No, none of them are bad. Some of them I'm like, I like this. It's fine. Like I'm not blown away. But
yeah.
But I also appreciate I'm in the minority. A lot of people I know love PTA, and
we rewatched There'll Be Blood the other week because Laura had never seen it before. And I was like, oh, let's stick this on.
I have never seen it before either.
Oh,
yes. That's one of the blind spots.
Fit it in before. Well, you don't have to because
Do you think I
there's
should?
no correlation. Yeah, man.
Before, do you think I
like
need...
it's just like Daniel. Obviously, just watch it for Daniel Day-Lewis. Tour de force in that movie, man. Oh, incredible.
Okay, maybe I should.
He is eating the scenery in that movie in the best way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're giving me some homework. That's fine. That is going to be in a couple of weeks. If everything goes to plan, we've got another short film interview next week, and then I think we're in the swing of the London Film Festival. So as we've mentioned before, Chris, you'll be on the online segments, and I'll be there seeing what I can watch. I'm missing the surprise film this year, but it is what it is.
I'm so sorry.
The dates were different. My idea is to go into it more freewheeling this time, and just kind of see what the festival gives to me, what's available to watch. And don't go in like last year. I was very much like, I really want to see this film, and I really want to see this film, and I'm trying to temper that and be like, see what's happening on the day, and just go watch some interesting films.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, the first year you're in queues asking people questions. This time there's gonna be somebody looking lost outside the queue, and you're gonna be with your coffee cup. And you're like, fucking idiot.
You can come up to me. Anybody who wants to chat, I am more than happy to chat. All right.
Yeah.
I'm by myself. I need the company.
Yes. Anybody, please. Alex is super nice and approachable. I promise. He's not as scary as he looks. Yeah, he constantly looks like he needs to take a shit.
Because I do.
True. You don't want to know what happens before every podcast.
All right. We're letting people too much into the behind the scenes now. Let's close this episode out.
Absolutely.
It's been a fun one. We kept it light.
that has been the episode for this week. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating or review, please. We do really appreciate it. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Film Angle.
We also have a Film Angle playlist that we really need to update. If you want to listen to that, you can find that in the show notes. Be sure to catch us next week for more cinematic discussions. Goodbye.
See you later.